Hi friends, welcome to my channel, Yaya's Heart Tarot. Today I'll be channeling messages from the departed via my tarot cards. We will be doing 2 readings today, but before we get to that, as has become sort of the tradition with my readings lately, I'll be sharing with you some messages that I've gotten in my preparatory meditation that will possibly help to determine or define for you who's coming through for you in this reading. I did get some messages that this may be spirit guides or guardian angels coming through today. Perhaps some of your loved ones who are now angels. But I did get very angelic message, the first message that I got. So let's go ahead and go over the messages that I received during my vision or my meditation. So the first message that I got, and this is the one that reminds me of spirit guides, guardian angels, that sort of thing. It was a vision of some clouds, and it was actually above the clouds, so as though in an airplane, but it wasn't actually moving, it was just sort of floating, but the clouds were kind of sweeping around both sides. It was at night, and there was a, in the distance, that was facing me, or I was facing it, was a ball of light. It kind of had a star-like quality to it, but it wasn't as defined as a star. It was more of sort of a ball with sort of some radiating light beams from it. And it lit up these dark blackish gray clouds. It was at night, so the clouds weren't necessarily storm clouds. It was just very dark. And this lit up just the edges of the clouds into this beautiful silver sort of gossamer light. So that was the first vision that I saw, which really for me sets the tone for this reading. Really special, really a very angelic feeling, a very just a feeling of not only love but wisdom, this deep intuitive wisdom. So that was a cool vision. And again, I don't know if that's dealing with a specific individual. I mean, some of you out there may have had a loved one who passed who was just that individual, that loving presence that brought the family together, or brought all the friends together, or just someone that when you were near them you could just feel the radiating, they were just calm and wise and loving. So that may resonate with some of you, or it may just be sort of an overall theme for this reading today, an overall blessing for this reading today. The next vision that I saw was a horse, either a statue or a fountain. It wasn't an actual live horse. It was like a white, like a concrete or marble perhaps, although I had kind of more the feeling that it was concrete horse, and it was either landing from a jump, or it was galloping ahead. It had the mane flying out behind it. It was lots of movement in this vision, which is intriguing because it wasn't real. It was actually frozen in time. So this could be an indication of someone coming through for you who was always very dynamic, who was always on the move, who was very just sure of themselves, and always never hesitated with anything. They just jumped right in, but they were stopped suddenly. Their death came suddenly, very unexpected, and it just basically stopped that movement in its tracks. So that could be the message there. It could also be literally someone who loved horses and loved to ride horses, perhaps even jumped or showed horses, because this was very much a feel of like a horse that was jumping or galloping. So it could be someone who raced horses or loved horse races or jumped horses. But it was just this. So either an actual horse that someone was a big part of their life, or if this individual was just very animated their whole life, and then suddenly their life was cut short. So that may resonate for some of you as well. Then the next vision that I saw, and I've seen this vision before, so I don't know, maybe this is for me. I can't connect it to anything personally, although I haven't given it a whole lot of thought, but it was a boxy, sort of a cartoon robot, almost like a robot made out of boxes that were attached together. It was just the head and the body, and the head was a small box and the body was a bigger box, and it had like some little boxes on the side and little buttons for eyes, or lids, like pop bottle lids or something for eyes, but it was a very boxy, sort of a little pretend cartoon play robot, something that a child would make. It may be, it might be like a homemade Halloween costume, or it could be something to do with like an old time show. I remember last time I saw this vision, I connected it with the old show Lost in Space. So it almost kind of reminds me of that, but this is not that robot. If any of you are familiar with that robot, this is much boxier, and I know I've seen it somewhere in some children's video or something, but I can't place it right now. So not exactly sure what that one is talking about. It could be that this was an individual that you did some craft projects with. They always had lots of boxes and popsicle sticks and macaroni, and you guys were forever gluing things together to make little projects or whatever. It could be someone who had an actual interest in building robots, and they may have, built like the little competitive robots. It may have had something to do with a cartoon that you remember. Honestly, I don't know where else to go with this one, but I've seen it twice now. So someone, either that's a message for me, or if one of my frequent viewers, that may be a connection for them. And this person might have come through before and be coming through again. So then the next vision that I saw was of the sea at night. It was like from a rocky place, and there was like a rocky pier or jetty that was jutting out, again, it was at night, it was stormy, it was kind of cold, it was probably in the winter time. There was a lot of waves frothing up, and outside of this rock outcropping was a sailboat. There was a sailboat that was out in the open ocean. This jetty or whatever this was called was actually sort of enclosing kind of it wasn't a bay so much because it was open on the other side, but this just stuck out, and so it made kind of a place where there was some shelter. But this sailboat was outside of that. It was out in the open ocean, and there was a lot of turbulence, a lot of big waves. It was at night, so almost kind of a dangerous situation, but I didn't get a real strong feeling of danger. Not sure what that would indicate for some of you as far as who might be coming through. It could be that you had a loved one who was a sailor. They may have been in the service, the Navy perhaps. They may have been a recreational sailor. They may have been a fairly avid sailor. Considering that this sailboat was kind of in a dangerous place, but I didn't get a feeling as though there was a real sense of fear with this. So this may be someone who really liked to challenge themselves sailing. Maybe they were in, long regattas or races that went out on the open ocean. Perhaps they even lived on a sailboat. It could be that this had something to do with someone who lived in an area that was near this. This may have been like the Atlantic Northeast here in the U.S., sort of up in that area. It almost reminded me of like Ireland or Scotland coastland as well. So it could be if you had, a loved one who lived there or was from there, that could be a sign there. I didn't see any buildings in this particular vision. It seemed almost as though this is someplace that should have had a lighthouse out at the end of this rock outcropping, but it didn't. There was no lighthouse there. But there was almost that lighthouse feel to it. So it may have something to do with the lighthouse. This person may have been a beacon for you when they were alive, but now that they're gone, it's gone. That beacon is not there for you anymore. So that could be the indication with that one. And that has left you battling some rough waters, but because of the foundation that these people gave you, you're not afraid, or this person. A lot of possibilities with that one. I also got a taste of salt air in my mouth. So if this is someone that you've gone to the sea with, you vacation at the ocean perhaps, especially if it was someplace that was kind of blustery when you went there in the fall or the winter time, that could be an indication of who might be coming through for you as well. And of course, if there's other associations that you make with some of these visions, then you're right. That's exactly what you're supposed to see or feel or know. So if that comes to you, even if it's not something that I say, it's still right. Take it at face value. So the next thing that I saw was a woodpecker mascot or cartoon. It wasn't an actual woodpecker, although it could have symbolized perhaps an actual woodpecker or someone who pecked at you all the time, someone who was just constantly there bugging you. But what I really took from this, it was I don't know how many of you would know Woody Woodpecker was a cartoon, and what was notable about Woody Woodpecker at the beginning of the cartoon show, he had a very recognizable laugh that he would do. And so I feel like this vision was actually somebody who was always laughing. You could be in a crowd of people, you could be at a family gathering, and you could hear them from across the room. They were the one that their laughter was contagious and infectious, and they would start laughing and everybody would be laughing before you knew it. So that was kind of the feeling that I got from this one, that it wasn't so much about the woodpecker or bird, it was more about that very identifiable laugh. So I feel like this individual was someone who had that laugh that you heard and you knew it was them, and you could hear them from a mile away, and even if you weren't anywhere near them, just hearing their laugh would make you smile. And then the final vision that I saw was a vision of a koi fish. There was a hand that was reaching down to this koi pond, and a koi fish was very gently reaching its mouth up to receive some food, probably from this hand. The hand was that of an elderly person. I didn't see any more of the person, but just the hand. I had the impression that there was an incredibly strong bond between this fish and this person, and that there was almost a wisdom that they shared. So I feel like that one is quite specific. I feel like this may have been an individual who had pet koi fish like this and fed them, which I've always found fascinating, that people can interact with fish that way. And so this may have been someone that you knew that had that type of interaction with koi fish. They may have raised koi fish, and they may have had tremendous, amazing, ridiculously crazy friendships with these fish. It also could symbolize just the wisdom. I just felt such a sense of wisdom and calm. So it could have been the demeanor of someone. They may have, koi are a very, very prominent symbol for the Japanese. And the Chinese as well. So it could symbolize someone who was of Asian descent, or perhaps someone who preferred that type of decor, or like myself, maybe had Asian tattoos. So that could be what that symbolism means as well. It could be someone who raised water plants, beautiful water lilies, locust, not locust. Sorry, I don't know why locust popped up. There's something there apparently, so some of you need to hear that. Locust, something to do with locust. And I can't even think of what the word that I actually want is. Well, it's gone. Anyway, so these people may have been someone who raised water plants. Lotus is what I wanted, but locust just blew everything else out of the water. So apparently there's a message about locust for some of you. If that means something to some of you, then that person is coming through strong. They demanded to be heard. So anyway, that was a little bit of a lengthy going over of the messages from my meditation, but they were pretty clear today, and considering that they started out with that one message that was just so angelic, I felt it was important to go through those. In addition to that, I've selected stones for our 2 groups today that are very much tied to the moon, mysticism, intuition. If you're familiar with tarot, these are stones that are connected with the high priestess and the magician. Yeah, it's kind of a theme that's running through today. And I had selected these stones before I did my meditation. So anyway, so group 1, let's go ahead and go to the groups. Group 1, this is an Indigo Gabbro sphere. It's hard to show it on camera, but it does have kind of a silver and blue flash to it. Indigo Gabbro is also known as Merlinite, trade name of Merlinite. So Indigo Gabbro sphere for group 1. And for group 2, we have a black Moonstone tower. And again, Moonstone has a flash that is typically blue or silver. Difficult again to show in this light, but it is there. So black Moonstone. So group 1, Indigo Gabbro sphere, and group 2 is the black Moonstone tower. So take whatever time you need to decide which group calls to you. If you want to listen to both groups, you are certainly welcome to do that as well. Once you've decided, the groups will be linked to timestamps below in the description area. So just drop down to the description area, click on your timestamp, and it'll take you directly to the start of your reading. And I will see you there. Hi group 1, this is your reading, the Indigo Gabbro sphere reading. The first messages that we would like to get, Spirit, please, are to represent the departed. Who is coming through for group 1, please? Who is coming through for group 1? I'm not sure that these cards are what we're supposed to get. This one definitely is. Yeah, they are. Okay. Spirit, any more messages with regard to who is coming through for group 1? Thank you. Okay. So we got the Soldier of Air, the Librarian, the 5, and the 9 of Fire. So, this person was an overthinker. They spent a lot of time trying to figure out all of the possibilities for everything. They did this to the point of almost madness. They had an inexhaustible wealth of knowledge, but they were compelled to weigh every factor of every decision, practically, to the point that they were exhausted. They were exhausted by this. But they couldn't stop. They couldn't help themselves. They had to do that. So that's who's coming through for you. Is this individual who just overthought everything. and they couldn't help it. And they knew a lot. So it wasn't like they had two choices that they were weighing. They had 60 different possibilities that they had to go through. And they would get caught up in this hamster wheel, this cycle of trying to make sure that they had the best answer. So they may have been someone who never really got much of anything done. They may have been an individual who, at gatherings, they were the ones who always brought up random facts or disputed people. They may have had sort of a contentious demeanor, or they may have created contention with other people because they may have challenged what other people said, because there were other possibilities or other facts that were being left out. And so they always felt compelled to bring forth any additional knowledge. But it was something that haunted them, basically. It was something that just dogged them all the time. They just really almost couldn't get away from it. It was just, they were in their heads way too much. So Spirit, thank you for those messages. Thank you for that message. May we please have messages with regard to what is the relationship between Group 1 and this departed? What was their relationship? We got the alchemy card, and we got the 8 of fire. And this card is very, very fiery, this alchemy card. And then the 8 of fire has got tigers on it, flying tigers. So, wow. Your relationship with this person was contentious to a certain degree. You were like fire and water, and you almost couldn't help arguing with this individual, and they couldn't help arguing with you. So I get the feeling that both of you are extremely bright, extremely intelligent, know a lot of stuff, but it's almost like you were constantly trying to one-up each other. Yeah, so I feel like that's the relationship that you had with this individual. You guys were always trying to outdo each other mentally, intellectually. You were each trying to know more than the other person and disprove each other. You were always disputing anything that each of you said. You almost couldn't help yourself, both of you. So that's the relationship that you had with this departed. So Spirit, thank you for that message. What is Group 1's query or concern or question for their departed? What is their question for the departed? What do they want to know? Okay, so we got the 3 of fire. And we got the Fortitude card, which is the Justice card. You want to know who was right. Oh my God, you people are killing me here. I feel like this is tongue-in-cheek. You want to know who was right. So who was right all along? Was it me or was it you? Okay, thank you, Spirit. Do we have a real query, or shall we go with this one? You know what? I am going to... I'm just learning Lenormand cards, and so I'm going to give it a try and see if I can get kind of some specifics for this. And again, I'm just learning them, so this may or may not go well. If it doesn't go well, we'll just abandon it. But... So, Spirit, could we please have some clarification on what question does Group 1 want to ask of their loved one? Okay. One more card, please. Okay. Okay, so we got the mountain, the horseman, and the stork. So our query has to do with obstacles. And the obstacles that you guys created between each other kept you from transcending, they kept you from communicating. That's what you want to know. You want to know, yeah, okay. So how would things have changed? You want to know if these obstacles hadn't kept you, the two of you, from communicating, what could have become? Yeah, I feel like you want to know if there had not been, if you two had not created these obstacles, would your communication have created something new or brought you to a new place? I feel like maybe you kind of had an idea that the two of you could have gotten together and like really created something spectacular or created something that the world had never seen before. So I think you're wanting to know, was that true? Was that a possibility? Could there have been something that the world had never seen that the two of you could have created or discovered had you not had the obstacles of arguing with each other all the time? Okay, so Spirit, what is your reply to group 1? What is your reply to that, please? Okay, so we got the 2 of fire and the courier of water. I'm getting the message that there's no way to know. That no, that's not the message. The message is that your loved one, that they're telling you that you shouldn't choose between, how do I say this? You shouldn't choose they're cautioning you against choosing the intellectual path versus connecting with your loved ones. So the lesson that they learned was that because they didn't connect in a loving way with the people around them, they missed out on a lot that they could have had because they were so focused on always knowing the most or always being right. So they are cautioning you about continuing to focus on this conquest of being the best, of knowing the most, of being right, of one-upping, of always knowing more than everybody else. They're cautioning you that if you do that, you might lose those you love. You see, here's the world, what you're trying to obtain, but here is your loved one receding into the background. And here is, the water sign is the sign of emotion, and there's a message here. There's a message in that. So they're just cautioning you against focusing too much on knowing more than everybody else, or knowing the most, or being the most outstanding, or getting the most recognition because of something that you thought up. It's not worth it. It's in the end, when all is said and done, what you knew here doesn't mean anything unless you connect it with purpose to those you love. Okay? I hope that makes sense. If you are just using what you know to show how much you know, that's actually throwing up barriers and pushing away those who you should be close with, or could be close with, or just people in general. And so rather than focusing solely on showing everyone how much you know, use what you know to connect with others and to serve others. To the question that you had, that was there something that you could have discovered or invented that would have been just amazing, and everyone would have been fascinated by it and astounded by it. What they're saying on the flip side is that yes, there could have been this, whatever this was, this invention or this discovery, but if you're only focused on the accolades you get from making the discovery or creating this invention, if you're more focused on getting the praise, getting the recognition, you've missed the point. You're missing the boat. The important part of that is yes, to come up with this amazing discovery or invention, and they do believe that you can do that even without them. But do it for the good of mankind. Don't do it for the recognition. So that's what your loved one is telling you about your question. That yes, you could do this, you can do this still, and you could have done it together, but you had the wrong focus, which is probably why it never came about. Thank you, Spirit, for that message. And what else would you like your loved one to know, departed? Spirit, what message, or what do you want Group 1 to know? What do you want them to know? What do you want your loved one to know? Okay, the first thing, this card that flipped of all the cards that we got, this is the only one that flipped up. And they want you to know that they're still here with you. I just can't imagine a card that says that any clearer. They are here supporting you, holding your hand, and you see how you've got your hand on their head? They're sending you their wisdom and knowledge. They're helping you with this intellectual endeavor that's really important to you. They're helping you to get those epiphanies. They're sending you wisdom. They're sending you wisdom, and they're here with you. So that's the first thing that they want you to know, and that is an amazing message. And then, in addition to that, okay, so we've got the Ace of Fire, the Six of Air, and the Maris of Fire, so the Queen of Fire. So again, they're saying that yes, it's very important that you have this wisdom. It is critical, and it is your gift that you have this wisdom that no one else sees. You see the owl is pointing to the moon. The owl is saying, I have wisdom that is dark, that is illuminated for me, that others don't see. So they want you to know that you have this incredible intellect, this incredible wisdom. But the Ace of Fire and the Queen of Fire are saying, use this for passionate things. Use this wisdom passionately to... The Queen of Fire creates amazing things that bring people together, that make things easier for people, that make things more exciting for people. The Ace of Fire is beginning of this journey of creativity and passion. So your loved one is saying they're here, they're supporting you, they're lending you their wisdom, they are bringing you ideas. You're still collaborating with them. They're still here. They'll bring them to you in your dreams. They'll bring them to you as you're pondering something. They'll just pop in your head. And that you have this amazing, amazing understanding of things that most other people don't have. You have an incredible grasp of things that most people don't have intellectually. You can understand things that other people don't even see. But use that understanding and that intellect and that wisdom and that brilliance to create. Don't just use it to show how brilliant you are. Use that to create passionately something that benefits all of mankind, because you have that within you. So thank you, Spirit, for those beautiful messages. And that was a beautiful reading. I am in awe of you, Group 1, and your loved one. What a wise, wise person. A wise spirit. And it sounds like you're going to be going on to do some amazing, incredible things that we're all going to hear about. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for all of us. This is going to be amazing. So let's take a look at the Oracle card that we pulled ahead of time. This is the Santa Muerte Oracle. And the cards only are numbered, so I'll have to get the book. This is a beautiful card. It's the number 2 card, which speaks of duality and balance. So that is another message here to balance the intellect with the action. That's been a huge message in here. Balance the head with the heart. Balance the, just showing that you can do things with, or that you know more, with wanting those things to actually get out into the world. So that's a start for the 2 card here. And we'll see what the book says about it. And I was going to apologize for my pronunciation, because a lot of these cards are Aztec gods. But this one is not. This one is the masculine. So, the first active dynamic and creative impulse that emerges from the darkness. This second card is no less than the fundamental force of the universe. The first push towards the outside, a channel of passage, both stimulating and vital, the desire to become and evolve. So again, this is talking about the outward manifestation of your intellect. So this is pushing that out into the world. This desire, however, cannot be satisfied because the energy, much like fuel outside the combustion chamber, is not yet structured, disciplined, and stable. So I think this is saying that, again, you're in your head. It's not defined. These ideas that you have, this knowledge that you have, is just sort of floating around nebulous. It doesn't have a physical form. So the advice of the dead is your abilities are at their peak, but you need to focus better on your objectives, perhaps asking advice from a masculine or paternal figure. So there's that for you. If you need to know how to put your ideas into motion, into existence, You may need to call in another individual. This might be, when I think of masculine, I think of someone who can do things with their hands, someone who gives into the physical world. So if there's an individual in your life who is very skilled, who's very handy, who's a craftsman, who is just a doer, it may be in actually hands-on kind of a capacity, or it might just be someone who knows how to move manpower around to get things done. But you may need to enlist that individual to get your vision out to the world. So do that. And wow. Thank you so much, Group 1, for allowing me to read for you today. This has been really, really amazing, and I can't wait to see what you do with this. So best of luck to you, and I am grateful that your loved ones are so wise and came through for you today. If you have any comments about this reading, I would love to hear them. If you have amazing ideas that are bouncing around in your head that you want to let me know about, I would love to hear that too. I am all about crazy, amazing ideas. But most of all, I just hope that you come back again and join me for future readings, because this is what I love to do, and I am so grateful that I have this opportunity. So thank you, and I will see you soon. Bye. Hi, Group 2. This is your reading, the Black Moonstone Tower. Spirit, the first messages we'd like to get are who is coming through for Group 2? Who is coming through for Group 2, please? Who is coming through for Group 2? Okay. So the first card that we got is the Mother of Earth. And this card, actually, I got the message that this might actually resemble someone to some of you who might be coming through. So I want to give a good look at that picture. So, and then the other card that we got is the 10 of water. The 10 of water. Okay. So, yeah, so that makes sense. So this Mother of Earth with the 10 of water, this would have been someone who was just incredibly loving, just tremendously nurturing and loving. She was the quintessential grandmother, and I feel like it was a woman. I would say in 99% of the case, this would be a woman. This is an extremely, extremely loving individual, and she was always calm and solid and patient. She had the patience of a saint. And the little kids loved her. Little ones just came from, there may have been just a ton of grandkids, and they all, the second they hit the house, they wanted to see this person. They wanted to see their grandma, probably. Wow. This person just had an amazing energy. Sorry. I had a loved one like this too. So that's who's coming through, Group 2. Thank you, Spirit, for that message. And Spirit, what is the relationship between Group 2 and their departed? What was their relationship? Okay. The Ace of Air, the Six of Water, and the 10 of Pentacles. Wow. So your relationship with this individual was like everything. The Ace of Air, you guys, you talked, You just were on the same wavelength intellectually, mentally. You loved to talk with this person. You just loved to talk to them. And it wasn't necessarily something that was lofty or worldly or like academic, analytical kind of stuff. But it was an understanding. There was an understanding between the two of you. This person taught you to understand the true nature of the world, in a way that was that was your thought. They helped you. They may have helped you picture the way things are, but they just helped you know. You just had this, just a knowing. It was like you didn't have to prove it. You didn't have to have facts. They just made you see. The things that they told you, the things that they helped you to understand, just landed in such a way that they couldn't be any other way. It just made sense. It had to be. And because of this and because of who they were, because they were this just incredibly loving individual, you found so much happiness, and your life was absolutely made richer for having known this person. They were so important to you, so very important to you. They were obviously in your life when you were a child, and even when you were just a little child, they treated you in such a way that they helped you to see the wealth and the wonder of life, and of nature. Wow. What an amazing connection. So that was your relationship with this individual. They helped you to see the bigger picture, to understand life, to understand what was really important, not analyzing things and not memorizing facts. They gave you this sense, and it may have been like when you went to school and you didn't do well in school, or you did badly on a test, or you didn't understand something. Rather than sit down and drill with you so that you could learn it better and remember it better and test better, they sat down and they made you see how that wasn't your path. That may not be your path, but that it would be enough, and that in the grand scheme of things, you had enough, you knew enough, and not to fret about it. They just made you feel so okay with whatever you knew and whatever you could do. They never made you feel less for not understanding something, or not being able to regurgitate facts, or not being able to do well in school, although I suspect you did do fine in school, but you probably were hard on yourself if something didn't go exactly the way you thought it should, or you didn't get a good enough grade, because that's what society does. They put that pressure on us, but she never did. She never put that pressure on you. She always made you understand that there was always time. It wasn't your time to understand this yet. Whatever you needed to understand from something, you would, in its time. And she helped you to understand that exactly where you were is exactly where you were supposed to be, and that you were always enough. Wow. Okay, so Spirit, what is the question that group 2 has for this individual? What is their question, their concern, their query? What do they want to know? What do they want to know of their departed? The Lovers and the Son of Earth. there are others that have gone on before you. This woman, most likely, there was a partner that she had in life as well as a son. And they've all passed on. And you want to know if they are together, where they are now. In particular, the son. You want to know if the son, if they've found the son, if the son has rejoined them, or if he's gotten lost. That's what you want to know. Because he may have been lost to the family a bit when he was alive. I feel like there is some indication that he was this surrounding, there was some chaos for him. There was just some unsettled energy about him when he was here. And so, and he always caused concern. He always caused concern for his mother and father. They may have been estranged, but they always worried about him. And they passed before he did. And when they passed, he perhaps was not much in their life. And maybe this is you. Maybe this is you. Maybe you're wanting them to know. Either this is someone who's passed and you're wanting to know if they've reconnected, or this is you and you are wanting to know if they forgive you, and do they know that you want to reconnect with them. So that's the query. I'm feeling like in the first group I did this to clarify the question too. I have just recently started learning Lenormand cards, so I want to use these to see if I can clarify your question a little bit. I am very, very new at this, and so it may go well, it may not. If it doesn't go well, we're just going to ditch it. But I'm going to give it a try and see. So Spirit, can you please give us some clarification, please? What is the question that Group 2 has for their loved one? Is there any clarification that we need with regard to the question that Group 2 has with their loved one? Yeah. Yes. We got the dog, the clover, and the man. So you just want to know, do they now know that you do love them, and that that you just want them to know that. You want to know, do they know that you do love them, that this faithful, you were lucky to have them, and you understand that now. You are now faithful to them, and then now that you've grown up, you understand how lucky you were to have them as your parents, and you want them to know that you know that. So hopefully that resonates for some of you. And again, it may be that this is a son who's passed on as well for some of you, that this was a family member who may have been estranged, and you want to know if they've reconnected. But for others of you, this is you, and you want to let them know that you know now how lucky you were, now that you've grown up, to have had them in your life, and you want to know that they know that. So Spirit, thank you for that message. What is the reply from the departed? What is their reply for Group 2, please? Okay. So they know that you were always a fiery individual. It was your passions that led you to fall away from them. And they understand that you had to go through that. And in fact, that's what makes you who you are. Your passion about things is what caused the falling out, because you had such strong feelings about what was important to you. That's what caused the break between you, and they know that. They understand that. They understand that your passion was something that it's a part of you. There was nothing that could have been done differently. They understand that. So Spirit, can we please, let's try the Lenormand cards again. Can we get some clarification on this with regard to their message now? Okay. So, the fox, there was something they say that they knew that you were at odds within yourself, and this created it created a persona that you couldn't back down. You had to be strong. So because you couldn't admit, you had to hide the fact that you were fearful or afraid, and that's what made you react the way that you did. You couldn't let down that guard. You had to be strong because this was so fear-driven for you that you couldn't let go of this facade that you had created, or this anger that you lived with, because it was your protection, and they know that. But they also know that now you have been essentially reborn. We got the stork, so they know that the stork is about migration. It's about birth. So they know that you have completely changed your life now. They know that you've gone through this process. You've gone completely through this process, and you've come out in a new, fresh place. That you've basically been reborn, away from this impetuous, this strong-willed, fiery, angry individual that you are now. And so they know that. They know that about you. But they also know that there was no other way for you to get to this point. So they're fine with that. They've always loved you. And they never blamed you. They never blamed you for this. They never blamed you for the way things were. They may have gotten angry, but angry largely because they were afraid for you. They were frightened for you. They wanted you to be safe. But they knew you had to go through this in order to understand where you are now, to get to that place. So they never held that against you. They knew it was something that had to be. So yes, they know where you are now. They knew you were going to get there, and they've never held that against you. They've never pushed you out because of it. They gave you space because they knew you had to go through this. So Spirit, thank you so much for that message. What is something else, what if anything does Group 2's loved one want to let them know? What is something that they want Group 2 to know? Spirit, what is something that you want Group 2 to know? Okay, we got the Wheel of Fortune, we got the Father of Air, and we got the Temperance card. Yeah, so The two of them are together, by the way, and they're both bringing through this message. What an amazing couple they are. We've got the mother of earth and the father of air. You know, she was the sturdy, loving, calm, caring, just patient individual, and he was witty and sort of tongue-in-cheek, but reserved, but he was very smart. So anyway, they're both here. They want you to know that they're here together, and they both are seeing you. They say that it was your destiny that you would get to this place of calm and composure. And in fact, that because of the way your life unfurled, the way it rolled out, you have become an even stronger individual, a calmer presence than you would have had you not gone through all of this turmoil. So they want very much to let you know not to beat yourself up over what happened earlier in your life and the trials and tribulations that you went through and you feel like you put others through, because they want you to know that without going through all of that, without going through conflicts and hardship and turmoil, you wouldn't have a comparison to know how much better a place you're at now. And you wouldn't have worked so hard to be at this place. So they very much want you to know that they love you. They don't hold anything against you. They never have. They never will. They see you. They're proud of you. They know that you are really offering them your apology. You're asking for their forgiveness. They see that. They know that. But and they take that in. But they always knew that this was the way that it had to be, so they don't hold that against you. They never have. But they also see how genuine you are now in your offering. And so they are touched and they are proud of you. So Spirit, thank you for those messages. Group 2. I'm glad that I had a chance to bring this reading to you. I feel like this may have brought some closure that some of you may have needed, and some encouragement and some understanding. I feel like you're in a much better place now, and perhaps one of the roadblocks to continuing in this better place was knowing that these people, these lovely, lovely people in your life, approve, and they do. They're very, very proud of you, and they knew that you would get through this. They knew. And even if that meant that they had to keep their distance, that was okay. They knew you had to go through this. So let's see what the oracle card that we pulled is. This is from the Santa Muerte Oracle, and it only has numbers on the card, so I'm going to have to pull the book to tell you what this one is about. This is the number 15 card. 15 card, and I will apologize ahead of time because many of these are Aztec gods, and I may slaughter the name of this god. I'm guessing this is one. So we'll see if I can get it figured out here. Yes, it is. Tlazotetl. Okay, sorry. We're gonna let it go. Mother goddess of the earth, of sex and of the moon and of birth, connected to the 2nd and 7th cards, the complementary principal impulses of masculine and feminine, which can only bring forth descendants by cooperating. Benevolent protector of fertility, we see her devouring a malevolent centipede, for she was also seen as a purifying goddess to whom people confessed their sins, which she purified by devouring them. So I think that goes along with our reading here, that you feel like you need to confess your sins to these people, and they are purifying those sins by letting you know that they never held that against you. They don't now. They're proud of you. The advice of the dead is to trust your intuition, but first accept and admit your defaults to yourself. Only in this way can your journey be prolific, rich, and unobscured by your ego. So good advice there. So Group 2, this has been a powerful reading. Thank you for allowing me to bring this to you. I hope that this provides you with whatever it is that you need from this, if that's closure, if that's acceptance, if that is encouragement, because it looks to me like you've got a really amazing life ahead of you, because now I think you're going to be someone who can provide a lot of guidance, or probably already does provide a lot of guidance to others who might be misguided, who are fiery and passionate and maybe a little difficult. But I think you're going to provide a beacon for those people because of what you went through. And your loved ones always knew that. So thank you for sharing this reading with me, and thank you for spending this time. I greatly appreciate you, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye-bye.